Hello and welcome to this episode of the Writing Workshop with your hosts Flutter Priest and Milk.
Oh God, we've done it again.
So, this week we're going to take a look at a rather new story, or at least new when we're reading it here. A Visit from the Sisters by Anon A. Mous. Anon A. Mous is a writer who's caught my attention, and definitely Milk's, because everything he touches turns to gold. It is unreal the way this guy puts out content, and it's all Anon stuff, so I have to give him some serious credit there. He just released this new story today, A Visit from the Sisters. It's human, random, and slice of life. With the description, it's human... oh my god. Wow, good job, Priest. It's Hearthwarming's Eve, once again, and Anon plans on spending it the same why he spends it every year, drunk and alone. Well, not if Celestia and Luna have anything to say about it. Oh boy. Misspelling it in the description. Anon A. Mous, you've been doing so well.
And we just praised him so fucking hard too, and then that happens.
Oh boy. Oh, it's written in rhyme.
No, is it?
It is. It's written in rhyme. It's written in 4-line rhyme.
In
All
prose. In poetic prose. Why do you call it rhyme?
Well, sure. Yeah.
I mean, it all rhymes, and it looks like it looks like it's all just one letter, like 4A and then 4B and then 4C.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it goes back to repeat any of them, so it's going to just be standalone pieces each.
Alrighty, well, let's give it a shot. 'Twas the eve of hearts warming. 'Twas the eve of hearts warming, and all through the town, all the ponies were smiling with nary a frown. Everyone was laughing and in a fine mood, with drinks and candies and lots of good food. Foals huddled by fires, wrapped in blankets tight, as their elders told stories of the first faithful night. Everyone was jolly and filled with good cheer, except for one, Anon, who smelled of cheap beer. He was all by himself, locked up in his home, where he brooded and pouted and drank all alone. He sat in the dark, his mind all muddled, as beer after beer he gulped down and guzzled. He downed each bottle, only to wince at the taste, but the discomfort did little to slow his quick pace. He had just finished his sixth and reached down for one more, when suddenly there came 3 knocks on his door. At the noise he did stiffen, his face became grim. There was only one pony who'd be there to see him, this late at night with the weather so cold. If he opened that door, he knew what he'd behold. A mare of yellow coat and pink mane, who visited each day come hail, snow, or rain. She always came calling, with some stupid guess, and just the thought of her now brought him much more distress. Grumbling to himself, he rose from his chair. I wonder what she wants now, that stupid little mare. Across the room he stumbled, his footsteps unsteady, for he had drank half his supply of beer already. He finally managed to find the door with great care, and he threw it wide open to shout at the mare. But instead of Fluttershy, he instead found strewn upon his doorstep the Princess of the Sun and the Moon. Their faces were red, and they giggled gamely, as they swayed back and forth in a manner ungainly, with their flanks on the floor and their hooves in the air. Their crowns were gone, and their chests were both bare. As the door opened, they looked at the man, and with a drunk smile, Luna quickly began to cheer and shout, though her words were quite slurred. "Ah, there he is," she practically purred. "Oh, Anon," Celestia said with a snort and a smile. "We finally found you, though it took us a while. We were looking for you all over the town. Luckily, Pinky told us where you could be found." Anon stared at the mares, his mind all befuddled. As they stared back at him, large grins on their muzzles. After a moment, he finally slumped and sighed, and opening the door, he motioned them inside. "Get your flanks in here," he said through his teeth. "And Luna, kindly stop eating my wreath." The mares didn't need to be told more than once, and they slipped inside out of the cold and the ice. They glanced around blankly as he slid the lock in place. Then Celestia said, with a sad look on her face, "Where is the fire? Where is the treats? And where are the streamers and decorative sheets?" "You'll find none of them here," Anon said with a scowl, and the sisters could see that his mood was quite foul. "I haven't celebrated the holidays in over 3 years, but if you're looking for drink, I have some more beers." Luna looked sad. In fact, she looked quite forlorn. But not Celestia, who quickly lit up her long horn. In a flash of light and a jingle-like sound, festive things began to appear all around. There was a tree in the corner, and streamers down the halls, and wreaths and garland appeared on the walls. Candles appeared, and their flames all aflicker, as Celestia danced around with a whinny and a nicker. In short order his home was covered in tinsel and lace, and a merry fire was roaring in the proper place. It was so brilliant, and the dark all but disappeared, as Celestia stood there, grinning from ear to ear. "There we are," she said with a drunken half-giggle, and diving on his couch, she began to wiggle. Under the blankets in front of the roaring fire, Anon just stood there, trying to figure out what had transpired. "Where did this come from? What have you done?" "Oh, Anon," she giggled, "don't ruin the fun. My sister and I have watched you each year, as you sit alone and drown in your beer. That's no way to celebrate such a wonderful night. So my sister and I are here to make everything right." "'Tis true," Luna added with a lopsided grin, "for I, too, know what sorrow lies deep within." "You two are crazy," Anon huffed. "I'm perfectly fine." Then Celestia pouted and held up some wine. "Please, Anon," she said, her lip all a-quiver, "will you please help us kill off your liver? Or at least let us help you." Blech. Anon stared at the bottle and tried to debate whether or not he was in the right state. To deal with these ponies, they could be quite tricky, but eventually he decided he couldn't be picky, and company was company, especially tonight. So with a sigh, he nodded and said, "All right, we'll do things your way, but just so you know, if either of you try something, you're out in the snow." "Why, Anon?" Celestia cried with a startled gasp. "We would never do something so vulgar and crass. We've just come to help you celebrate the holidays proper," and with that, she quickly pulled out the stopper. They drank of the wine and partook in the treats, even as snow slowly continued to blanket the streets. And soon enough, a smile appeared on Anon's face, as the sisters helped him escape depression's embrace. The trio laughed and they joked through the dark winter night, chatting and singing in the soft firelight. They snuggled down deep in blankets so warm, ignoring the snow that outside did storm. They spoke of past experiences, of friends they had known. The sisters told of days before they had taken the throne, and Anon did too, tales of his past, which he had shared with no one, but now revealed at last. It was just about nearing 4:15 when Luna suddenly started to snore. She had fallen asleep right there on the rug, with frosting on her lips and eggnog in her mug. Celestia and Anon both watched her with smiles as they continued to work through their candy stockpiles. Slowly the fire began to fade, until only embers remained. And that's when Anon's smile slowly began to fade. He looked at Celestia with her coat all so white, and he thought about what had transpired that night. So as the embers and the burnt logs did sputter, Anon leaned back and said in a mutter, "Thank you, Celestia, for all that you've done. But all this stuff, you're clearly overdone. I'm no one to waste such time and such flair. Your efforts tonight would have been better spent elsewhere. I'm not all that special. No, not in the least. Yet here you come, bearing good food and a feast, the likes of which I've never seen before. So tell me, Celestia, why did you knock on my door?" Celestia was quiet for quite a long while, but when she did answer, she did so with a smile. She unfurled a wing and pulled him close, till a scent hit his nose of lilac and rose. "My dear little human," she hummed in her chest, "when it comes to how you're feeling, I know it the best. For hundreds of years I've been so alone, celebrating the holidays in a room on my own. I'd stare up at the moon, in the face it did bear, and I'd think of my sister, who was trapped up there. Today we suffered in our own special way, her during the night, and me during the day. We both know the feeling of sorrow and hopeless grief, so that's why we came to you tonight, bearing relief. For this is a lesson we both too learned well on our own. No pony should ever have to suffer the holidays alone. With that she yawned and laid down her head, and promptly fell asleep using a couch as a bed. Anon just sat there, the princess's head in his lap, as the embers before him quietly continued to pop and to snap. He stroked her mane gently, his touch was so light, and as he felt himself begin to drift off for the night, he whispered softly with tears in his eyes, his eyes full of tears, "Thank you, Celestia, for the best gift I've had in years." And with that, he snuggled on down into the blankets warm, where he would stay until the dull light of the morn awoke the trio and brought it with it a horrible headache. He cared little now, though, as that was future Non's fate. And with that, the small party came to an end, but with all three of them now the closest of friends. And with that, I think I'll put this book back on the shelf. Merry Christmas to all, and go fuck yourself. Oh, I think it's time that I'm honest about something.
Dear God.
There are tense changes in this. There really are. I have no idea who Anonymous is, but this was nice. This reminds me of the old green text back on 4chan, and this was not posted in FR, which is my home thread. I recently put Alpha Slub there, and there was a very, very clear reference to FR in there, in this story.
Yeah.
It's almost obvious, and I don't think it's a nod to me. I think it's more of a nod to Flutter Rape in general. Right, let me take a look. Let me see if he's added it to that group while I'm thinking of it.
If not, you should probably add it to there for him.
It's not. So I'm going to add it to the Inspired. If he hates me for that, he can do that. He can yell at me later.
I honestly don't think this guy cares what does and does not happen to his stories.
No, I don't think he does, because that's actually the only story that it was added to. The only group that it was added to.
I mean, if you also just click on his account name and go there,
there's literally nothing. Yeah. This guy purposely cleared everything, and he made his account on the 5th of December. So I wish I could say that I knew who this guy was, but he also made a new Pastebin account, too. And he's posting it over on AIE on 4chan. So, I don't know. He seems like a really cool guy. I'm happy he's getting so much traction here. He's a good writer.
He's literally anonymous.
Yeah. And then sometime I'll have to... I still need to read his big story, Death Comes For Me. It's got such a positive reception.
Oh, go read it. You have to go read it.
But,
when you have a chance.
I really enjoyed this. I wish I had more things to critique on, other than that there was, like, one tense change that I caught. Like, you should have had an ED at a verb or something. But it was a good story, and it was nice, and it feels like green text, but it's still prose, and it's good. And I have a soft spot for all of these stories. Milk, critique the man.
Critique him? Shit. There was less cursing than I would have assumed out of an AIE. Normally when you see this stuff, there's more cursing. I was slightly disappointed in that. I definitely thought he would have thrown more of a fit about Celestia Luna just showing up with beer and then messing up his fucking house. I'd assume that he also opened the door, tell off Fluttershy with it, while ignoring the fact that there is no Fluttershy, it's two princesses, and would have slammed the door in the face anyway. I think since his reference was to Flutter Rape, I think there should have been more of a joke. Like, one of them asked him what his fetish is, and then he just slams the door right then and there.
But it's not that far a story. It's clearly more general than that. Like it's a
No,
nod.
and that's what I mean in terms of nod. He could have made the nod stronger. Yes, it was strong enough that we know what he's referencing, but at the same time, the joke could have been carried.
Yeah.
His poetic prose, he goes and sort of mixes his style. While yes, he is rhyming them. Some of them will just be all A's, and then the next one he'll do A B B, or then he'll do A B A B. It's kind of inconsistent, but at the same time, rhyming in that manner with that many words is slightly difficult. So I won't knock him too hard for that.
Did he really go to A B A B? I didn't catch that. Okay.
Yes, there are a couple spots where he goes A B A B, and then sometimes he'll do A A B B.
Huh. Okay. I didn't catch that, but okay.
Like
an example?
Like right in the second phrasing, he does AABB. It goes tight night and then cheer and beer.
Okay. I saw mostly AABB, but I didn't catch main, rain, chair, mare, care, mare, gainly.
I might have mispronounced a couple words in my own head and assumed that it was for A, for B. Let's see. T3 twice ice. No, it's AABB.
I thought it was mostly AABB.
Yeah, no, I might have missed a couple spots where I was mispronouncing words. So.
Okay. All right. I thought it was good. Overall, I can't find anything to knock this story on. You should have made the character's name not Anon.
No, that's fucking retarded. People who have that issue. No, I actually can rant a little bit about this. People who have that issue do not have the ability to put imagination in work. Somebody else has to tell them a story. They're fucking stupid. It's not hard to think the word anonymous is now Bob. Literally. I mean, is it really that difficult to assume the word anonymous is just now Bob or some other generic fucking name? I mean, in any story, if I took the actual character's name and just changed it to Anon, does that really ruin the story for you? Do you really lose sight of any character description and just assume the Green Man? It's fucking stupid. It's people who have a lack of imagination that complain about that shit.
I just think it's refreshing to see Anon used in a third-person perspective.
It is nice.
It's not very common to see that. Second person is almost the go-to Anon format because of the way 4chan's writing generals are. When you write green text, you write in second person. That's the way it works.
It's synonymous. It's synonymous with Anon.
Yes. So this was nice. I really enjoyed this. Anonymous, you need to keep up the good work, and also maybe hit me up privately so we can talk. Just hint, hint, nudge, nudge. So, what?
Trying to get in there with him. See who he is, maybe.
Yeah, there's definitely a mystery. You don't understand so there's a big deal, and I'm fine with this being on a writer's workshop. This writer Anonymous has caused a shockwave across the larger writer community. Like, people are convinced this guy is going to hit 1,000 followers in no time flat because he is so skilled. People are asking me, like, is this your alt account? Why would you create an alt account for something that you already do? And I keep telling everyone, no, this isn't me. Like, this guy's just really good. And that's not saying, like, I'm really good, because I'm not. But the point is this guy's really good. And I would love to get him in touch with some of his fans and let him, fend some questions and stuff.
He's been active for
literally less than
21 days.
Yeah,
like 21 days.
He's been going
and he's got
nuts.
He basically pulls 11 followers a day, and that's not showing any sign of slowing down. He's just gonna keep going.
Yeah,
he's already at 236, and if that follows, it's gonna be 4 months. He'll hit 1,000 people.
It's true. So, if he keeps up this momentum, he's going to be one of the AA greats. I'm definitely going to say that here and now. Like, he needs to keep up the good work, keep up coming up with really, I want to say, original ideas, because I haven't seen this sort of Anon prose before. I haven't really seen that before. I need to look deeper into the other two ideas, but they sound cute enough, and you're doing literal shit posting, and it seems like everyone's having a good time. So if you really are an alt for someone else, that's still awesome. But keep just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. That's all the man. These last few writers' workshops have not had a lot of good critique in it. But that said, thank you everyone for watching this episode of the Writers' Workshop. If you want a link to the story, go ahead and check it out in the description. Do you disagree with our story? Our analysis? Do you think that Anon is completely unforgivable and just should never be used in a story ever? Leave that in a comment. And thank you for watching this episode of the Writers' Workshop. See you next time.
Or don't.